Hi, what's up? You're watching Sit Down. I'm DJ Sixsmith. RJ Freed is back with us, our cartoon president, showrunner, exec producer. What's up, man?
Thanks so much. Yeah, great
so,
to be here.
I mean, an amazing amount has happened since we last talked. I mean, there's a lot of new people in this race. It's an election year.
Yeah.
What has life been like for you and the crew?
Yeah, it's been nutty, and it's also been really fun because the world has gotten so much bigger. Now we have all these wonderful new Democratic characters. We've been honing in on what makes them interesting and flawed and wonderful, and also found that, like, not only is it just refreshing creatively to have all this new material to play with, but I think also the audience gets to just see the world expand so much this season. The hard part has been just trying to keep up with it all, because it tends to change all the time. Like, we've had there's so many things that happen we didn't anticipate, whether it's Bernie Sanders had a heart attack, whether it's like, for a long time it seemed like Joe Biden was going to run away with it, but it's definitely a horse race. So we are adjusting all the time. Bloomberg getting into the race, we did not necessarily anticipate. So last week's episode we had to sneak in some lines to account for that. So it's been forcing us to be on our feet.
Was it tough to nail the Bloomberg voice and find the right person for that?
Oh, Jason Kravitz came in with a really good take. Yeah, I mean, he's not as hard. There's some people, well, luckily you have some people like Jeff Bergman, who plays Trump, and Biden is just an absolute genius at mimicry. We've even had him do, if we can't get an actor, Jeff Bergman will step in and actually just will play their voice.
Oh, wow.
And he'll imitate it.
Wow.
Like, it's incredible. I mean, he has like a library of like hundreds of voices he does. Like, I don't know how he does it, but there's something in his brain where he can just lock into anything. So there's some characters where we try to like really go close to their actual voice, but then there's some where there's some kind of handle we're playing with. Our Klobuchar character is definitely an exaggeration of what she really sounds like, but it really depends on the character, what we're trying to get out of them. Yeah.
I think it's pretty interesting if you have range to do both Trump and Biden. I don't know if a lot of people can pull that off, right?
Well, volume-wise, they're pretty similar. It's like there's so I don't know if the Biden character is. He's loud, he's talking, and so there's certainly a sense of I think when people say like who can go toe to toe with Trump on the debate stage, like Biden's right up there, and so I think Jeff really enjoys it because Biden's one of those he's a person who he speaks his mind, and so he gets to really get some emotion into the character and just be loud and proud and talk and worry about later what he actually said. Yeah.
So with Bernie Sanders, like he's kind of been a background character for a little while. What's it like kind of putting him up to a higher level here? Awesome.
I mean, James Adomian plays him. James Adomian is brilliant. He plays him in real life. He does a tour around the country as Bernie. So that was something that was like, I mean, what a bird in hand to have.
Oh, it's a slam dunk right
there. Yeah, where it's like, we're going to cast Bernie. It's there's no one better than James Adomian. He plays a bunch of different characters brilliantly, and impressions he actually brought to, the show. Like Ted Cruz was not something we weren't looking for exactly that, but you hear that and it's undeniably funny. So, yeah, I mean, if Bernie Sanders is our next cartoon president, which some statisticians say might happen, it would be great.
I mean, to go from Trump to Bernie, just in terms of a cartoon perspective,
that'd
be a gold mine for you guys, right?
Yeah, we're in good shape. And then, it's also like we've had this opportunity too of like exploring Bernie's world. We've gotten Jane Sanders in this season. Anna Dresden, who's from Saturday Night Live, plays her brilliantly. Anna's actually someone who we've brought in the fold this season and taken on a few characters. So, yeah, we keep going back and forth. Actually, like our writer's assistant last season, who is a brilliant performer, Ali Levitan, plays Elizabeth Warren, and we auditioned 200-300 people, and hers was just the best and funniest. But there is a world in which if Elizabeth Warren becomes the next president, our writer's assistant is now the star of the show. We told her, like, we don't know if we can let this happen. It's
That'd
too
be
much
pretty
power.
wild, right?
Yeah.
It's like, listen, you have your place in the writer's room here. You can't just be going all the way to the top now.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that. So, no, it's been, and then, like our one of our associate producers, Kate Villa. Again, we also a performer on the side, auditioned tons of people, and she got Amy Klobuchar, and it's hilarious. And I mean, even, and I think if you watch Colbert, The Late Show, she's aware of her impression, and it's been really cool to see the politicians react like that, yeah.
Yeah, what have been some other cool moments like that in terms of like your show crossing over to real life?
Yeah, I mean, we know like we've gotten on good word that a lot of the candidates are aware of their impressions, whether they want to acknowledge it or not. Yeah, we're still waiting on. We've also gotten word through back channels that in the administration they're aware. But yeah, we're still waiting for that tweet to come.
I mean, the tweet would be an all-timer.
Yeah.
You kind of have to be aware of it. Like, it's definitely somebody's job to just know everything that's going out there, including a show about the president. I mean, come on, you gotta know that,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah, no, so if President Trump, if you're out there, you're certainly welcome to promote Sundays at 8:30.
We would love that.
Showtime, yeah.
How about this Sunday? What can people expect?
So Joe Biden is his campaign. He needs an extra boost, so he wants to get President Obama's that coveted endorsement that all the candidates want. Then he realizes over the course of it that he's really after Obama's friendship. Probably one of our more heartfelt episodes. And yeah, it's been this weird thing this season where so much of what's happened in real life has really lined up with the shows. I mean, we had our impeachment trial episode scheduled for. We started writing it, months and months ago, and it fell right on the same week as the impeachment happened. We had a Pete Buttigieg episode that happened to land right after he started surging after Iowa, and was all over the news. So we've gotten just a really. Just kind of really lucky and fortunate with how much the news cycle has lined up with what we're doing.
That's helpful. Why don't you give us a little peek behind the curtain? Like, how many people are involved with the production? How long does one episode take before you have to jump to the next thing?
I mean, at any given, there's moments where we're doing 10 this first half, and we'll do more leading into the general election. But there's times where all 10 episodes are in varying degrees of production. Now it's season 3. It's really become a machine, but it's Tim Lukey and his team have created a show that's unlike any other, and it requires a production pipeline that is unlike any other. So it's taken 2 seasons to really hone it and figure out where do you put your resources to come out with the best show. But yeah, we started writing about 3 months out, I would say. There's asset design, once we kind of have a general outline. Then there's, storyboarding, animatic, and eventually going to animation, voiceover parallel to that. But throughout the whole thing, as you go further along in the animation process, the harder and harder it is to change things. So you're trying to make modifications throughout the whole process so that we're as timely and relevant as possible. Yeah, I mean, I give the example of the Bloomberg recruiting Hillary into the race episode, which was this past weekend. Yeah, I mean, that was one that we started writing not knowing Bloomberg was going to get in the race, so we had to then tweak it again and make sure it counted for him jumping in the race. And then we had to tweak it again when he had a tough first debate night, and we had to kind of account for that in the story, and it ended up lining up perfectly as a motivation to say, Hillary Clinton, you need to fill the lane that I once filled. So it's a living organism that keeps getting modified.
So much going on there.
There's
it's crazy.
Yeah.
What are some of the big things you've learned throughout the process? I mean, from year 1 to year 3, it's a beast. So what sticks out to you?
I mean, look, we always want the shows to feel relevant, and you kind of always have to. You always have to do the hard thing. I mean, I know, like Late Show with Stephen Colbert, they'll be breaking news right before taping, and they always make the decision to we gotta get this in the show. So I think we've been, when you're faced with that, oh God, it's gonna be so hard to get this in. You gotta go for it. And also, I would say just shows process means so much. Like, good process is good show, and so you can't really worry about the final product of what's going to go out there, but there's so many, like I always say, like you need an engineering degree to lay out how to produce this show. There's just so many little steps, and every day is accounted for. If you get that right, you're going to have a good show, and especially in animation, which is such a engineered. I mean, frankly, like scientific endeavor
Yeah.
to build a show like that. So just focusing on the process. It's huge.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You guys have a great product, and looking forward to the rest of it.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Yeah,
Why don't you
appreciate
tell
it.
everybody when they can check it out and where to do it?
Sundays, 8:30 p.m. on Showtime. We're also all over all the apps, Showtime Anytime app, Apple, Roku. The list goes on and on, yeah. So,
there you go.
Just Google it.
Yeah, you're going to like it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's RJ, I'm DJ. See you next time. You're on The Sit Down.